Welcome to Wild Shift episode number 2. My name is Tzach, and over the past few years, I've been reflecting on my life in my home country and the choices that led me to where I am today. In this podcast, I dive into the stories of people who have made bold changes in their lives, leaving behind comfort for something new and unknown. Join me as I explore what inspired them to take these leaps and discover the impact of their decisions. If you enjoy this episode, please share it with others. And today I'm hosting Yuval Fluk, the co-founder of Wonderland Healing Center. We're actually filming and recording this episode at Wonderland. This center serves as a comprehensive hub for individuals seeking to conquer personal obstacles, develop, and embrace a happier, more liberated life within their own skin. Over the past 7 years, Yuval has supported many individuals in overcoming anxieties and traumas, whether stemming from childhood experiences or life challenges. During our conversation, I realized that Yuval has a very straightforward approach. We engaged in a fascinating discussion, exploring alternative perspectives on various narratives, grounded in particularly, but also with a touch of spirituality. Wow, I have to say that, first of all, hi.
Hi.
I'm very nervous, but also a little bit, there's something quite emotional with the way I feel now talking to you. I want to explain you why. When I started my journey, my healing journey, it was almost 2 years ago, I was a bit lost. There were so many facilitators and so many treatments and so many things, people that promise to heal you, and like, you do this, you're gonna be healed. You do this, it's gonna unlock. There's a lot of like unlock your something. And I think I sat exactly last year, almost maybe a little bit more, with a friend, my office in Rothschild in Tel Aviv, and we talked about some of my journey. And then she was like, I just came back from Thailand, from Copenhagen, and I've been to Wonderland she was in Copenhagen for 3 months, and she was like, I was in Wonderland for a week, can't really remember, and she did the inner walk, and she explained to me about the concept of the place. And in my mind, I was like, no one actually thought about it, like putting everything in one place, and it's like a one-stop shop. And now I'm here with you, and there's like some sort of a closure for me, like doing it with you, and there's like something, wow. And also was thinking on my way here to what to talk about, and then there's like something when you come to Wonderland and you see that big sign says welcome to Wonderland, that moves something.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people tell us that the moment they start to walk in the path inside Wonderland, there is a different vibration. I can understand. There's many things that makes up this place. I think the fact that this is also a home, which, like most places where you go, it's like a place that you go to experience something, but it's not the home of anyone.
Yeah.
No, it's like you go to a retreat center, but nobody really lives there. It's like people comes and goes, and even the teachers, they don't live there and so on. And Wonderland is like our home. So I think it has some influence on a very general aspect of the place, that like it's very solid, it's very grounded. There is people living here 365 days a year, and this is our life, and we're just sharing our home. And I'll say another thing, that Wonderland is like the next generation of something that happened before. And before that, we had a 12-bedroom complex that we lived there, and the same group of people who moved to live here. And it also was a home, and we just make our home a little bit bigger every time, and soon it's going to be even bigger than that. But I think the fact that it's a home makes a lot of difference, so it makes it very comfortable for people. And the other thing I can say about Wonderland, there is a guy, very close friend of mine, that is the guy who thought about this place. It was like, he's the one who's basically came with the idea. He nudged me for a very long time, come to Copenhagen, you will build it, they will come. And he said, we'll do a healing center. And it's basically what's his vision, yeah? And one of his agendas, he said, like, we have he called it Spiritual Club Med. which is
It does
basically
feel like yeah.
yeah, it's
I
a,
am in my mind a Disneyland
yeah. So,
of
so
healing.
like you go to Club Med, you have everything that you need. There is people that like make the entertainment for you, and you have a lot of activities, and the food is there, and it's like actually it's all inclusive. It's buffet. It's actually the same thing. Just the activities are not volleyball and not drinking at night. There is like yoga, meditation, so on, so on. So and he called it spiritual Club Med. And the other thing he said, we have an eclectic schedule, which is like basically means that the schedule is like bits and bytes from many many different things, and with the years it's like the team that is working on the schedule have mastered this concept, let's say. So like, yeah, we'll do at 4:30 we'll do this class, and at 6 we'll do this class, and then if they do rebirthing, so the next class need to be something that helps to relax, and if we do this yoga, so we need to do that yoga after, and so on and so on. So they master the eclectic concept. But like in 1 week you can experience, if you participate in everything, probably 50 different types of experiences, like the types of yogas and meditations, so on, so on, so on. And I think it was his vision. And I think the thing that also is very in our blood, and not just in Wonderland, and also all the things that we do, is this beginner mind and beginner concept, and working with people that have no idea what they're doing. It's like they just come and they start to explore. So they don't know what is yin yoga, what is ashtanga yoga, what is hatha flow, what is sound healing, what is rebirthing, so they don't know. So they have the capacity to come and to experience a lot of things and to see what works for them, and then maybe take the things that works for them and continue, or deepening like specific workshops, or like just take it home. And I think that's like this beginner concept is very welcoming for people. So the people who come here have like a very light experience going inside. They don't have to be into spirituality, not have to practice too much yoga before. It can be the first experience. And for me personally, it's like I would say it's the agenda. Like I want to meet the people as early as possible in their journey, even if they don't know that they're on a journey anywhere, and like they're just like, let's say, they had a vacation, they randomly arrived to Wonderland. It's like, cool. They don't have any agenda, they don't think to make changes in their life and all of those things. It's like to meet those people, for me, it's like it's one of the priorities, let's say.
Yeah.
So everything that we do is in order to make it easy for people, very welcoming. Inner walk as well. I think it's a practice that people can come and just do. It's like you don't need to have experience in meditation or anything.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, when you go on booking and when you like look into the healing journey and you go on booking.com, for example, or other website that you can book a room here, and you go on Wonderland Healing Center, and when you come here, when you see the photos, it has like a feeling that, okay, this is the place for me. This is like, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna be so much better and I'm gonna be healed. So, and also like, it's the feeling I just got here, like the island, or sorry, the land is almost like hugging you. Where in a different concept, you like, okay, I need to find out what I want. So if I want, I don't know if I want it, like yoga or meditation or rebirthing or tetra breathing or this one or aqua, whatever. And it's all spread out around the island and around the world. And this place offers more or less everything to your soul.
It's very all inclusive. I will say that there is kind of an experience that you don't need to go out. So like we have the restaurant where people eat, so it's like an all-inclusive buffet. So like the activity is like classes, restaurant, swimming pool, and like you're just moving around. And so and the other thing is there is a very strong social aspect in the space. So it's like it's a very community oriented, and not in any way that like we're doing community activities or community management or all these like community things. Just everyone eats in the restaurant. The restaurant open at specific hours. So let's say dinner is between 6 to 8. Everyone who lives here or guest will be in the restaurant between 6 to 8. Maybe not all the time, but I mean, it's like, so like around 7 p.m., it's like everyone is there and everyone's sitting in long tables, and these people that you've done yoga before or meditation, or you saw them already 2 days walking and you just sit with them on the table. So there is very open communication that is happening. And so the community aspect is also very powerful, and I think it's crucial for the process of people. And in a funny way, a lot of people ask me like, I want to go on a journey. I want to change something in my life. What should I do? Like, what should I do? And
Yeah,
I tell
people
them,
are lost.
yeah, it's like, so I tell, it's like pack a small bag and go alone somewhere. Yeah, so like don't bring anything of your past.
You mean
Don't
in
come with
general in
friends.
the world, not
Yes,
necessarily here.
yes. So like you're sitting now in Switzerland, and you're feeling confused and lost, and you're thinking, what should I do? It's like go alone somewhere. Don't bring any one of your friends, any one of your family. So what's happening is Wonderland. They come here alone. And
But actually, they're not so alone.
yeah, so and they have the community aspects here. But the people that they meet here, they don't know you. So you don't have to show up in a certain way. You don't have to keep up your stories. You don't have to keep up the delusions. You don't need to maintain your identity. And like you can really be free because you actually know that it's just an experience. And when you go, you go back to your things. So you don't need to be so worried about how you behave and what you behave. And it seems like it's hard to understand it until you're in that position.
Yeah.
When you're actually alone and you can be whatever you want. So you can go to do activities that you wouldn't do. You can go and have a talk about something that you wouldn't talk. You can share something that you didn't tell anyone in your life. Just you probably can understand it easy, like
There's
talking
no
about.
judgment.
Yeah, no, like
There's no
nobody holds
judgment.
it with you.
Yeah.
Like, very,
No one cares what you're dressing, what's your
Yeah.
brand, what you're feeling, what you went through, what.
very easy, very, very easy. And like just feel like that you can talk about your past experiences in your life with people that they have no opinion about it. They're not influenced by what you're saying. They're not going to take it personally. It's like, so there is a lot of things that happening in the space. Yeah, in many, many different ways. Yeah.
Wow. So like you can really come here alone and actually like from people that are looking for to start their healing journey. I think it's the best place to come. Like you come here, there are a lot of people. You might think you'll be alone, but you're actually very hugged by people that are experiencing the same things. And you also like you're
I
also
wa-
participating like
So, just before we switch, I just want to say that the word that I choose to use, and it's not my word, I took it from one of my teachers, it's called improving quality of life. So I don't use the word healing so much.
Healing.
Even the word healing in the Wonderland Healing Center is controversial for us. Some of us think that we should be just Wonderland. Anyway, it's already so many years, so it stays Wonderland Healing Center. But one of my teachers in one of the journeys, he was sitting in a group. He was asking, "Why are you here? Why you come? Why you come?" And it's like, and everybody gives like a very sophisticated and intuitive answer and blah blah blah. And then he says, "You come to improve your quality of life," and everybody sits quiet.
improve your quality of life.
Improve your quality of life. And like actually, when you think about it, behind the words that we said, the intention was to improve something in our life, to improve quality of life. And actually, when you look at this, everything that you do in your life, you do in order to improve your quality of life.
Yeah.
So I think what is happening in the space is enabling the acceleration of this process of improving quality of life.
Yeah.
Anyway, you ask about me, so
No, but before you go,
yes.
I want to just like put like to acknowledge what you're saying. Like a lot of people are coming here to heal. Like their soul been wounded or something happened during their life, whether it's a breakup or whether it's I don't know, a war or something's happening and their soul is breaking. So I'm assuming they're coming here to heal that.
Yeah, so yeah, I can agree. I can agree. But the word healings give a context to something.
Yeah.
It seems that something was sick, something need to be different.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I just believe that I have problems. And maybe I can see reality in a different way. And the things that I called so-called my problems in my life, I will see them just as my guidance and my teachings in order to understand life in a better way. And there is nothing to heal.
Yep.
So I understand that that also can be called healing, changing of the perspective.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm following the word healing and I'm looking at this is because I'm trying to understand what people hear. So the average person, when you say the word healing, it's create a connotation of something is sick.
Okay, I understand.
So there
your
is a
perspective now.
sickness. And the challenge with this word for me sometimes is like, I'm not sure that you're actually sick. I'm sorry. It's like, I've been talking with someone and I'm going to give a specific example. I had a very long talk many, many years ago with someone who has become a facilitator later on and works with me, and we are very close, like good friends. And she was sitting and she was telling me her stories, and she was telling me basically how bad is everything. And I told her, like, she gave me a whole lecture, and it's so like, I don't understand the problem. I don't understand the problem because I don't hear any problem. And the only problem was that she was believing that everything that she's sharing is something wrong. She was talking about how she's experiencing her feelings or what she sees and how she feels uncomfortable in the work environment. And let's focus on the work environment for a second. If your boss is treating you like and speaking very harshly on you, and it's very competitive, and you're feeling not comfortable with this, yeah, it makes sense, you know? It's like, I don't think you're sick. But you might think that something is wrong with you because you're not living up to so-called standard that you might believe that should be there. And actually, you actually seeing yourself and understanding that it's not nice to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and on the weekend to be available. And then someone is complaining about that you're not giving enough. It's like, yeah, it feels not good also. It's like, and it's okay that you feel not good about. So many of the things that so-called are being labeled as problem inside my head might be that actually I'm not feeling okay about something, and I should follow and see what my feeling is taking me to see, and understand maybe I can change something in my life, and not think how I can adapt myself to something that is not good for me. So you see, so the word healing for me is always, and the healing of someone, like, maybe you don't have a problem. Maybe you're fine. And you're just not listening to yourself, and you don't see that your intuition actually takes you to the right places, and voices pulls you away from it. And you need to learn to handle this mind conflict that you have, maybe.
Yeah.
So anyway, and we can say that this
Yeah,
healing
it's
is
so
itself.
difficult, I have to say. Like, it's so difficult to find the right path, because I think there's a lot of people, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can tell from my experience with people around me or myself that people are living in a kind of like numb automatic mode, and then something happens. There's like a breakdown, something happened with work, with whatever, and then something's activated. Something's being activated, and then they lose their mind. I mean, losing their mind is a big word, but they lose some sort of like the
They lose control.
orientation around the world. They don't know what's going on. And then you get confused, whether it's work, maybe it's something about me, maybe it's my country, maybe it's my friends, maybe it's, I don't know, but something happened. And then people are losing directions. And then they seek for directions. And then you have a place like Wonderland or other facilitators, whether it's in their own country and or other places, and they're looking for the answer.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's okay. It's I will say the reason, part of the reason that I've chosen to do what I'm doing is in order to meet these people. So because I'll be honest, the same friend who took me to the idea of Wonderland was with me many years before, and he was kind of, he took me to do many of the first things that I did. First time I did a detox. First time I did, he took me to inner walk. He took me to do many things, and so I had some guidance. But it's like I had a random friend who was there with me, yeah. But like if we look at the numbers, so I meet tons of people that are going, let's say, through meltdown, like burnout,
Yeah.
in work, going through burnout, and they have nobody to ask for support. So they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. So if they arrive here, at least I feel that we can, give them an environment that helps them to figure out what's going on, why burnout is happening, what's going on inside my head, how it's affecting my body. And so they find some, let's say, first aid, some support initial, and they go on a journey, and they can help themselves to understand the reality different, develop different perception, maybe lose some of the challenges or the sickness that they've acquired with the years of working out their life or stuff like this. So I think, yeah, this is like really part of the biggest intention of why we're actually here, to meet the people that are in the challenge.
And you meet a lot of people. Like, do you see actual changes? Like, people are, I mean,
Yeah.
you see people transforming and having, I mean, you can see someone coming in a certain way and live in a different way. Like, do you
Yeah.
Like how often you see it?
I'm very concerned on answering this question because I'm concerned for the ears that are listening to this question and
Because
the
you're
answer.
afraid of promise anything?
Yeah, I don't like that people come with high hopes and high expectations. It's a journey. There's many steps. It's not a miracle, and things happening, and changes are happening, and also the change is dependent on where we are in the process and how ready we are. I meet people that, let's say, arrive to Copenhagen for 1 month, and they meet me just 2 days before they leave the island. That's like the moment that it happened, you know? And I share with them things and give them some perspective and says like, I wish I meet you like 3 weeks ago. You know, I lost the 3 weeks. I was just hanging out in Copenhagen, and I said, no. That's just like you needed this for this journey. Next time when you come and you come for another month, you can plan ahead all the activities and what you want to do. And I tell you, it's not going to be the second journey that will finish it. You just come for another month, you'll do more things, and then on the third journey, you will do more things. And life is an ongoing process. So, but people can gain a lot in 2 to 3 weeks time. Um, and I will say something like this: if you just be outside of your own comfort zone and your own environment for 2 weeks, you will gain a lot of things, regardless to the quality of the activities that you do in that 2 weeks. Just the fact that you're away will give you just a realization of like, you know, we are so identified with who we are that just being outside who we are for 2 weeks, it's mind blowing. It's like you start to ask questions like, why do I do all these things all day? Like, why do I chase all these things? And it's like, so even you just ask these two questions, like it's a lot, because you might go back home and start to do things differently. So
Yeah. Or people are sometimes identified with who they were or who we were. Like I want to be back to normal. I want to be working 8 hours a day or 9 hours a day and be fine with this. Something's wrong with me. Like I want to be my old me. Can you repair it? Can you heal that? That's the questions.
I think this question comes in a point when you were working for quite a few years. Maybe it used to be 25 years until you get to this point. Today is 15 or 10 years until you get to this point when you start to like, man, I don't want to work so many hours. And the way you experience it is you're getting tired of what you're doing. And then you have this like, I want to be like I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But again, I think every challenge or crisis that you experience is actually just come to tell you it's about time for a change. Yeah. It's about time to grow up and to find different way to live your life or different purpose or something like this. And think about it that like I'm a working man. I'm not lazy. I'm waking up in the morning. I'm busy all day. I'm doing stuff, but maybe I'm doing the things that I don't want to do anymore. I come from technology and business. Do I still want to sit in front of the computer all day, write lines of code? Okay, so you switch, you go to management. Okay, do I want to tell other people what to do and to manage schedule and to work under the pressure of nobody's filling their quotas? And maybe I want to do something else. So allow yourself to do the changes. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I was also working at high tech, and I was also in that world, and it's actually a really great world. Like, you know, like you earn quite a lot of money, or you earn fine, and you have like an apartment in the center of the city, wherever you are. I mean, in Israel, it's a very like a thing. It's a bubble, and it was so hard for me to like leave that bubble. It's like you have all these like welfare and events, and like you're doing, but not so much, and it felt like a golden cage. I mean, it was a beautiful cage, but like realizing that I cannot do it anymore while I need to do it was such a struggle. Like, and I know a lot of people, and I talked to many people that not only came from high tech, like doctors or, you know, people that did like had a business with something, and then they had to leave it because they couldn't. They had like massive burnout. It's so challenging to leave that world and like doing something that actually you want to do.
You know, in a funny way, when you're at the point of the burnout, you're quite lucky already because there is no option for you. You have to do something about your life because you go to doctors to take medications to pass the day.
Totally.
So at that point, you know, it's quite easy already to actually make a decision.
The body speaks for itself.
Yeah, yes, and it's like you're already shaking.
Yeah.
I think more challenging is to identify the path towards burnout. and to see that you are on the way to get there, and to find yourself 2-3 years before, and not quitting, but saying, you know what, I'm going to take 1 month break. I'm going to do something at that 1 month, something meaningful for my life. Let's say, you can say, come to Wonderland, you can climb a mountain. It's the same. And if you start doing it before you are at the point of breakdown, first of all, you might not need to get to the point of breakdown. And the other thing, when you will get to the point of breakdown, you will already have an idea. I remember I went to climb a mountain. I felt so good up there. Maybe now that I'm in a burnout and the doctors tell me that I need to take a break and I start to take medications to take care of my body, maybe I can actually go and do something. So actually, I think that we are now living in a potential generation that understand what we just spoke. Or like they're interested more to say, you know what? I'm not going to just work. I'm going to take breaks. I'm going to do content vacations. I'm not just go and sit on the beach. I'm going to go for 2 weeks in a place that offers something. And then when you start to do it in a younger age, before you get to the burnout phase, first of all, there is maybe a chance that you will not burn out because you're actually taking care of your life while you're working. And the second thing is that when you will have a challenge, you will have already tools to deal with them. And honestly, I don't think that all people need to quit their job and go live in a jungle. That's not my agenda. I think it's okay that we have jobs and we need to maintain our life while we're working and to balance it with some other things. So I think finding us before, we don't need to get to the burnout. And I think that's...
And I think it's a great point because a lot of people are like, there's like an issue with preventing, like the preventing of the burnout, the preventing of the meltdown, as you said before, or the breakdown. You know, it can be with your job, it can be with your partner, it can be with your city, it can be with many reasons or many things that are in our life, like things that they're ongoing things. How do I prevent it? Like, how do I mean, I'm in a good relationship or I'm working 9 to 5, whatever, and then there's like a voice in my head that says to me, okay, I'm in the right path, but actually this path can also lead me somewhere else. I mean, what if my partner will break up with me? You know, it's all beautiful right now when we're traveling, and then he will break up with me or she will break up with me, and then I will be in a massive breakdown. How do you prevent that? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people during or before their healing journey. I'm like, I see the path and I was like, you need to somehow, like, do you have any tips? How do you recognize the pattern that can lead you to a burnout?
So
before you get the burnout,
I think that everything that you have in your life, you need to be able to experience for a period of time without it. So if you have a job, you need to spend 2-3 weeks without the job. If you have a partner, you need to be able to spend 2-3 weeks without the partner. If you have kids, you need to be able to spend 2-3 weeks without the kids. And the reason is to refresh the energy. It's like when you take a break from your partner for 2-3 weeks, some of you might take it in the wrong way and saying, you don't want to be with me. Suddenly I'm not good for you. Why you want to break from me? No, I want to break from you to refresh myself and to acknowledge deeper why I'm here and what can I bring more into here, what I need to work on, how I can develop myself, and so on. So every time you take a break from something, you're actually releasing the tension around it and you're allowing yourself to bring something new. I will say it in many other ways. You can take a break from eating, do like a detox, like fasting. You can take a break from your phone. You can take a break from sexuality. Taking a break. It's not eating in the world. No, it's not no sex. It's not no friends. It's not no phone. No, it's not a big thing. It's actually a small thing. I take a break from something so I can refresh my relationship with it. Because anything that you cannot take a break from will become your troubles. It will become an obsession. It will become a mental illness. It will become your sickness. So I think it's amazing to have a relationship, and it's good to be able to take a step back for a moment and to do other things. I'm not saying go fuck around. I'm not saying go and do other things. I'm saying just take a break. And you know, in some traditions, it's mandatory to take the breaks. It's part of the tradition.
to leave the tribe.
to leave the tribe, to not sleep in the same bed for 2 weeks, and so on, so on, so on. And like also like let's say doing detox or fasting. So one day you without food. Let's see how you behave. Let's see your monkey, you know, like, and so every time that you take a step back from something, it's a whole mental development. And it's actually, if you practice to do these things, it brings your mind to a new level of understanding and consciousness and capacity. So when emotional things coming up, you will deal with them better just by because you know how to take breaks from things.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it brings me to a different conversation that 2 weeks ago I was doing inner walk, which we're going to talk about it in details more. And there was this monk there. I think he was the person who brought inner walk.
Yes, he's the creator of
He's the
Inner Work.
creator of inner work.
Yes.
And the one thing I remember that really resonated with me, that he was like, life can be less of a struggle if we attach less. It's all
Yes.
around attachment.
Yeah.
So when you're saying like take a break from this, take a break of that, like it's all lead to attachment, and like
Yeah.
attachment leads to suffering.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah, I think it's profound, and I want to say that when we say the word not to have attachment, it might sound like I'm rejecting something. Well, attachment and detachment, the concept behind it is more like not needing to grab into things, but enjoying having them. So I'm having great time spending with you now, but I'm not holding this. So you see, so when you'll go, I'll be fine. And when you'll come back, I'll be happy. And when you go again, I'll be fine. And it's learning to do this thing, yeah? And when you learn this movement, you're actually more connected to more things in your life than when you're attached to things. Because when you're attached to things, you're in kind of an obsession mode about them. And it's not like really relationship. It's more like an obsession.
yeah.
And when you lose the attachment and you just accept to be with this person or this experience or whatever it is, it's more like enjoying each other. So I'm not attached to you, I'm enjoying you. And actually, when you think about it, even between parents and kids and friends and partners, you know, it's like, I want to enjoy you. I don't want to grab you. It's like, so of course, when we're growing up and we have fears, so we develop attachment and so on. But when we start to do some work with yourself, and it's not very complicated work, and the fears are not so strong, so it's easier not to have the attachment, and it's actually becoming friendship. And I can say that the way, let's say, my relationship with my parents now, so there was attachment and it was like avoidance, you know, there was like this thing all the time. And now I feel like they're just my friends, you know, like, and yeah, are my parents. I acknowledge they are my parents. Yeah, it's not like they are not like, but, and I respect them as my parents and so on. So, but like they're also my friends, and I wish that everyone could say when they're communicating with their parents that they talk with their friends. It's like we can speak about things. I don't need to hide things from them. I don't criticize what they do. They don't criticize what I do. We can speak about stuff. It's not triggering. It's like friendship. And so when you get to this point when there is less attachment, it's like you just have a nice friendship with things. And it can be with food, it can be with sexuality, it can be with your family, it can be with partner,
Yeah.
so on, so on.
I think it's easy to say than actually doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think the automatic response that we have, I mean, personally speaking, like I'm a very attached person. I like my things, like my partner should have like its own things. My partners, I was very total with them, and you know, it's very hard to be giving you the 90%
Well,
or 80%.
Well, you can give 100% and not to be
Can I?
attached.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I don't think, I think this is the misunderstanding of the attachment. When we think it's only 90% because it's not attached. Attachment comes from lack. Yeah, when you have everything that you need, you don't need anything. So if I'm with you when I don't need anything, I think it's way more meaningful. I can actually be with you. I don't need anything from you. You can come, you can go. I think this is love. You can do what you want. If you come, I'm happy. If you go, I'm happy. I'm happy also when you go. Because I don't need anything. It's not, I'm not sad that you go. I'm happy that you go because you wanted to go.
But I want you here
Uh,
all the
oh,
time.
Okay, that's the attachment. That's because you need something that you cannot be with. And it's actually, when you need me to be here, it's for you, it's not for me. You see, it's like, it's because you need it.
Yeah.
So, so you love me or you need me? You see, it's
I
becoming.
think my mom once told she told me once in the past that relationship is all about interests. Like, you are with me and I'm with you because we both have different interests, whether it's like emotional interests, financial interests, um, maybe like an anxiety attachment or anything. But like, you have a reason to be with me and I have a reason to be with you. It's like
Yeah.
almost like a employer relationship.
I think we can go above this. I give humans credit to be above this. I'm not saying that we all can reach this level, and I'm not saying that we all need to reach this level. I'm just saying I think it's really beautiful to have relationships, and I don't need anything from you. It's like, it sounds weird, but it's also very liberating. It's like, okay, you have time, you come. You don't have time, don't come. Okay, you don't call me, it's fine. You have time, we speak. I don't judge you, I don't expect you, I don't put my needs on you. When you come, we share. Sometimes you provide me with some of my needs. I'm happy for that. Good. I'm not expecting you to do it. And that's the difference. It's like there is no tension around the connection. Um, you know, I see it in many levels. Sometimes let's say we sit and we speak now. I will be just fine if we finish this conversation. You go on to your path. We don't speak for 5 years. Then you send me a message. Hey, look, I need this and this and this. I'm cool. Cool, I'm fine. I'm fine. I think that we covering our relationship with a lot of forms that are coming from fear and worries and concerns. Like, I'm just gonna be fine. You don't have to speak with me. I'll be cool. You send me a message. I'm happy to receive the message. Like, you didn't talk with me for 5 years. How dare you send this message now? It's like, no, it's fine. And I think when you look at this, it actually brings all humans way closer to each other, because I can meet the next person on the street and welcome him. It's okay. It's like we have so many fears that preventing us to just be welcoming for everyone all the time and not have stories about this. And it's like, yeah, and sometimes we don't speak. And when you call, I can tell you, wow, it's been so long. I missed you. Okay, nice. Yeah, I missed you. It's cool.
It seems like you don't have any expectations from people.
I would like to say that, at least on the philosophical level, I aspire not to have expectations. If I can practically do it on all levels, I'm a work in progress.
You're work in progress.
I'm
Okay.
work in progress.
No, I appreciate your honesty.
I'm getting better.
Do you think it's bad to have expectations?
I don't think it's bad. I just think that you suffer from your own expectations. I'm not thinking it's bad. Suffering is part of life, and I'm just saying that I don't wish you to suffer. So I think expectations raises the level of suffering inside of me, because let's face it, let's look at modern age relationship. You find your partner, you get married, and you build your life together. And you basically expect, that's how we mostly live, expect your partner to fill up all your needs. But nobody can fill up all your needs. Even if you have 20 people to serve you, it's not going to happen. So I have expectations from you, and you're not living up to my expectation. And also, you do what you want without asking me. So it's also not okay. And so you see how relationships are being built and broken. Because when we meet, there is so much love and passion and excitement and hormones and blah blah blah. But as we go in life, you don't clean everything as the way I like, and you don't set up the bed the way I like, and you don't put your things in the right place all the time, and I have expectations from you to understand all my needs, and you don't understand all my needs, and then the relationships start to break down. But maybe we can have a relationship and lower the amount of expectations from each other. I think that brings a lot of harmony, because I don't expect you to be something. And rather than expecting you, I'm trying to do something else. I'm trying to understand you and to see the way you move and to understand how I can move next to it. So without trying to change you or fix you, I'm trying to learn how to navigate my life next to you. And I understand that you will not put the things where I want. And I understand it's very challenging for you. So either I will make an effort because I love you to support you and put the things in the right place as I like it because it's important for me and it seems that it's not important for you. And I think that's an act of love. Seeing you, seeing what you cannot do and trying to understand how I can cover for it and having the heart intention to do my best for the people around me. And that's it. And I'm trying to live without expectation, to do my best. And you know what? I will tell you something. I know at the core of my knowing that you're doing the best that you can. I know this. I know this. I can talk about it way more, but I know that every human being is doing their best. Sometimes it's challenging.
The best in a way of reducing expectations or filling up
No,
someone's
doing their best they can to be a human being.
to be in your minutes.
Yes, to be a human being.
Yeah, well, it's a work in progress all the
Yes,
time, isn't
and
it?
and everyone is doing their best all their time. Sometimes it doesn't look like this, just because it's difficult for them. So when I see that you are not doing the best for me, I don't think you're not doing the best. I think you're doing the best, like it's challenging for you. When I look at this from that perspective, I have way less judgment and way less expectations.
But maybe some people don't care. Maybe like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care anymore.
It's probably the tough
You're
life.
asking me to text you every morning, or you ask me to take you on a date.
So it's my expectations,
Yeah, you're expecting that.
and you
from
cannot do
me.
it.
Maybe I'm filling up the expectation, but there's a point where like, that's it. That's it.
That's a good way to break a relationship, to have expectations. Yeah, if you want to understand why your relationship does not work, it's because
the
of your
reason.
expectations.
So it's bringing us back to attachment.
So, and if I go back to it, it's actually you can have a good relationship with any human being if you don't have expectation. I know it's raising a lot of flags, like, so why I'm in a relationship with them and blah, 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 a lot of issues. But just try to stay for a moment. Like, if I don't have expectations, I can be with all beings. Yeah? The reason you cannot be with all beings is you have expectations from them to be something that they are not. Even it's their religion are not suiting to you, or the way they look is not suiting to you, or the tone of voice. And I'm not saying that you have to be with all beings. I'm just saying the reason you cannot be with all of them is because of expectations. The reasons you have problems with people is because of expectations from your kids and your parents and from your partners. And then you have less expectations from your friends and then less expectations from people that you don't know. So you have tons of expectations from the closest people to you, which create the biggest separation possible, these expectations. So,
And also from yourself, there's a lot of
Yeah.
expectations,
Yeah.
filling up other people's
Oh.
expectations. There's a lot of
expectations.
a
are
lot of
very-
judgment and expectations from a lot of expectations.
I would like to say that I would invite people to transform from the word expectation to the word intention. So expectation is more of a result base and a future perspective. I expect something to happen. Yeah? So it's this have to happen. And intention is more of the way I walk the path. So gentleness, friendship. My intention is friendship. Okay, what will bring more friendship in my life? That's like I'm not expecting to have friends. I mean, my intention is friendship. So instead of I'm expecting to get married, my intention is friendship. You see, if your expectation is to get married, you'll be very obsessed and you're going to be married with the wrong person because he's not going to have friendship there. If your intention is friendship, you will have friends and you will have friendship and you might get married. But I hope you don't get married with someone that you don't have friendship with. So find the
That's the base.
intention. And intention is something that you can find now. Friendship, presence, contentment, generosity, gratitude. Those are words that you can set your intention towards to. And when you set your words towards intentions, they will be manifested in your life. When you set it towards expectations, you will have struggles and fight in your life. You might get it, you might not, but I will tell you something else. When you have expectations and you get it, 2 minutes later you have a new expectation. So I'm not going to sure if you're going to be happy even then.
That's an endless loop.
Yeah.
It's an endless loop.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people think that how can I do something in life without expectation? And when you connect to the word intentions, you actually see that you create amazing projects. And that's how I'm trying to navigate my life.
Wow, it seems like when you're saying that, it seems like I have a lot of work to do. Like I have a lot of work in terms of doing the right thing and like not expecting and intending and so many things that we don't know from the Western world and our automatic life. There's so many things that we need to know that we don't know. And maybe that's why we're sometimes failing.
Well, I would say that if the journey is about improving quality of life, and quality of life is measured by like how much suffering you have, so you want to induce the suffering and raise the level of joy. And I think there is many things that we do that are counterproductive. There seems to be the right things, but they are counterproductive. It's like there is a lot of confusion in many of the way that we approach reality, and I think that's a self-development journey. It's like studying about life. I will give you something nice that I like to share.
Please.
What is spirituality to you? Okay, so I'm not really asking the question. I'm just going to share my perspective on it. As like, for me, spirituality is being interested about life. So, like, you can go and follow some religious path and say, this is my spiritual path. You can go practice yoga and say, this is my spiritual path. But for me, spirituality is about being curious about life. What's going on here? What's happening? What do I feel?
Like
What?
wondering.
Yes, like this is the beginning of spirituality. It's like this sense of curiosity. It's like, what's going on? Like, there is more than me here. Am I am I trapped in my own delusions and thoughts and my perceptions? And so maybe I go read a book about how to improve quality of life. Maybe yeah, go for 2 weeks vacation and just be with myself and see what's happening. That's spirituality for me. Spirituality is not doing meditation. It's like yeah, maybe for someone doing meditation is spirituality. For me, what are your hobbies? What are your hobbies? What is hobby? What is the meaning of hobby? Like sometimes you meet someone working in tech and you ask him, what is your hobby? I really love technology. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
you can do
get it.
better.
No, but like,
Give me a better answer.
but I also love technology. I was raised inside the computer. From the age of 6, I was in computer. I really love, and I also was a gamer. Yeah, but there is a point when this hobby is becoming what you do for occupation, and it's important that you do it, and it's urgent that you do it because you need it for survival. And so, like, it's not really the meaning of hobby. Hobby is something that is not important and not urgent, and it's not. There is no result. It's like you just do it. So let's say you do pottery. So you go and you play with pottery, and when you finish, you break what you did. Okay, you can put it on the wall, but you can break it. It's not important. Just do it in the sense of doing something. Now you really liked it and you invest all your time in pottery now, and now you're starting to sell pottery. Now pottery is not a hobby anymore. See, it's become something else. You still can enjoy it, but there is other energies in that. So my question is, what is your hobby? What is not important that you do in your life? And I think this is for me spirituality, is doing things that are not important. Dancing. So let's say you are I meet a lot of girls and ask them, what's your hobbies? And I was dancing. And at some point I stopped and I asked them, when did you stop? And so the answer goes like this. They think, and then, yeah, I became 12. And then we did like competitions. And okay, so you're not dancing anymore. You're competing in dancing. You're performing for others to appreciate this. So now it's becoming important for you in life. And then the tension comes up. Then the stress comes, and then they quit dancing. So basically, dancing was their hobby. Now they're not dancing because it's performance measured. Yes, like work that is performance measured. So if you do pottery and you enjoy the pottery and people start to buy it, so now people label it with money and prices, and maybe you make a living out of this. Now it's not a hobby. There is tension around it. I don't think we shouldn't work for money. I think to ask what is your hobbies. Do you have some hobbies? It's a cocktail. Life is a cocktail of mixing different things. So for me, spirituality is finding those gaps in life where it's about what this thing is doing, this machine is doing. How do you operate? What do you do for fun?
Do you think people are scared starting to think about what they actually like? You know, like living the coding for a second and then what do I actually like? What do I actually want?
It's
You think
terrifying.
it's terrifying.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's different. So I want to explain something. A lot of people use the word ego. It's your ego. It's your ego. Yeah, you have to stop your ego. But what is ego? So I want to give a perspective of what is ego. It's like self-defense system of the now. This is the ego, self-defense system of the now. And I will explain. Whatever is you now, the ego need to defend. If a tiger comes, you need to run away and hide. I think you should be vegan. Let's say you're not vegan, so you should be vegan. So your ego will defend it. So let's say I'm not vegan now, and you come and tell me be vegan. So my ego will try to push it back because you are attacking my identity. And the ego is supposed to defend the now. Why? Because I'm alive. And the ego is supposed to keep me alive. So whatever is not me now, the ego need to push back. So the way the ego works, the ego is so contentless that if now I'm not a vegan and you tell me to be vegan, I will push it back. In 2 weeks, I become a vegan. Now you tell me to eat meat, I will push it back. In 3 weeks after, I decide to go to eat meat, you will tell me to go be vegan, I will push it back. Because the ego defends the now. So whatever is me now, it will defend.
Or whatever is identifying us.
Yeah, my identity.
My identity, yeah.
Yes. So now I'm working 12 hours a day and I pay rent and I live in London. And now you come and you suggest me to take a break. No. It's dangerous.
Living in jungle.
It's dangerous. It's risky. It's dangerous. So what's going on here basically in this process, that everything that is different automatically will come with defense and fear and so on. And our job in life is to go through a process of learning to see that a new thing is coming up. My ego is saying this and this and this, but it's just saying it to protect me from a change. Okay, let's look at the thing that came in. Is it dangerous? Is it risky? Okay, so just my defense system saying to be careful. Okay, I'm looking, I'm checking. Oh, okay, I can do it. Let's do it. But when I'm so identified with my mind and I cannot take a perspective step back from my thoughts, so every time that the change is coming, I will run away from the change because it's dangerous. So I will say that big part of the work that we do is training people to be able to take a step back from their thoughts and to see what's going on there. It's like inner work.
That's what the inner work is doing.
Yes, that's exactly inner work.
This is an amazing, it's actually a very interesting lead. Just a shortcut about, just a few words about inner work. I was doing inner work 2 weeks ago. And as I started saying from the beginning of this conversation, that my friend recommended me to do inner work last year, and I didn't feel ready. And you know what? And I felt ready this time. And I saw so many people doing the inner work, and they were terrified. Some of them were actually scared being by themselves, walking 4 hours a day for 4 days with their thoughts. And if you tell me that maybe half a year ago, I would probably be also scared doing that. And not only it was fascinating to see how people can't really acknowledge or be with their thoughts, but also this is something else that I wanted to talk to you about in regards to inner work. It seems like it's the only technique that allows you to think. And for me, it was like a party. For me, when I sat with Maya and she was like, think, it's good, be with your thoughts, detach from it. And for me, it was like, my parents are not home and I'm having a party now. Because it's the only technique that I was able to be with my thoughts, acknowledge them, go deep into the thoughts and like swim into my thoughts. Because other meditations or techniques are like disconnect from your thoughts, connect to your breathing. And it made me feel like I don't know what to believe anymore. You know?
So
I'm allowed to think or I'm not allowed to think?
We can cover this topic from different aspects. First of all, I will challenge some of what you said and say, the way I understood most of the practices that I met so far is that I'm not allowed to be with my thoughts. And I rephrase the important part, the way I understood it. So maybe the teacher said it and you understood the teacher properly and that was the message. Or maybe that's the way I understood the practices, because what I feel is that when someone goes to a psychologist and the problem that he brings up is this, like his mind is overwhelmed, and today many psychologists and therapists send you to do meditation, So the message that you get immediately, just the way you heard what I just said, is that, if I'll go to meditation, I will not be thinking so much. So immediately you think that you go to meditation in order not to think. So immediately, whatever the teacher will say in the class, you will hear that you have to stop your thoughts. So I'm not sure actually that that's the purpose of meditation. Okay, so I'm challenging the entire topic. Yeah. Okay.
Me either.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm in general. I'm
Me
just
either
giving-
anymore. I'm
Yeah?
not sure.
So now, some of the practices are putting us in a perspective. Let's say, follow your breath. So be focused on the breath. So when I say to you, follow the breath, immediately when you're not following your breath, you're feeling that you're failing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe that wasn't the guidance. Maybe the guidance says that you follow the breath, and when you notice that you're wandering around, you can just see what's going on. And then when it's finished, just come back to the breath. So it does allow you to see the things, but it gives you an anchor. And the anchor is you follow the breath, and then when you're wandering around, it's okay, and then you come back, you just come back. So that's also a way to say follow the breath. Just a little bit different interpretation. So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say that the way we guide inner walk is saying things in a very direct way. And basically we say, look, you don't follow anything, so you cannot fail. Because if I tell you to follow the breath, automatically you think you're failing if you're not following the breath.
I like success.
Yeah? So you're not failing. Immediately you're not failing.
Good.
And the second thing we tell you, you can think about whatever you want. So we basically enabling inside of you the concept that thinking is not a problem. Okay. So the moment that what's happening is actually you walking and you're learning to be with the thinking without trying to manage it. And as more as you walk, you're learning to observe the thinking and not to identify with every thought. If I go back to the ego conversation that we just, so your ego is talking and you don't have to do what he's saying. You just can listen and do nothing. And then maybe you can choose to do something else, and so on and so on. So when I take it to this perspective, basically, it's training you to be with thinking. Now, when you learn to be with thinking and you are with thinking, a miracle is happening. Your mind starts to talk less and less the more time you spend with him. Why? Because you're actually listening to him. So if I talk
And I'm
with
not oppressing it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what's actually very funny that if I'm every time that you think, I tell you shut up, shut up. Every time you talk, I tell you to shut
That's
up.
exactly what I feel.
Yeah. So so what is happening? There is so much tension inside of you to talk that the moment that I'm not going to tell you to shut up, you just going to talk. And when I'm telling you you can speak, I'm welcoming you, welcoming you. So you're not stressed because you can speak whenever you want. So the mind is like a little child. When you're trying to suppress it, you just want more attention. When you let him, give him the right space, so he's relaxing. So when you let your mind talk and you be patient with him, at some point he will relax. Now, I understand that for people who hear what I'm saying now, they're just thinking, me letting my mind to talk? No way. Like my mind says things I cannot hear. But when you actually learn to do it, and the practice is teaching you how to do it, not by the teacher is teaching you, just by the walking itself, it trains you to do it. Slowly what you see, you can actually be with everything that your mind say, and it doesn't bother you so much. And then the mind starts to be quiet because nobody is stopping him. So he's getting his space and he talks and then he finishes and there is quiet. So my mind works way slower in the intensity of thinking than most people that I know. Does it mean that I have less good ideas? No, I actually can hear what my mind say and I can make sense out of it. And he's not talking 24/7. He's like talking when it's necessary. So it's a very beautiful training. And I don't think that it's not aligned with all meditation practices or it's the other way. I think it's a lot about how we understand practices. And I have a lot of people who do sitting meditation and they did it for many, many years. And then they did inner walk. And inner walk changed their perspective about meditation. And they went back to do sitting. They took the concept of inner walk into sitting and basically they sit, they observe the breath. When their mind is wandering, they're just observing the mind wandering. And when it's finished, they just go back to the breath. So they still use other modalities, but they understand the teaching from inner walk and it helps them to do other practices.
Which I think with inner walk, the anchor is actually when you do the turnings.
Yeah.
You're like, you walk and then boom, you're changing the...
Every time that you turn, it wakes you up a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's
Yeah.
so much easier because I don't need to think about what needs to wake me up, and that's what's my anchor.
Yeah.
I like this concept.
Yeah, there is it's a whole talk. I don't think it's fits our time, but I will just say that you cannot wake up. You can only become aware to the waking up. So when you are asleep, you cannot wake yourself up. You're just waking up. And you're becoming aware to the waking up. So what is happening when you're getting disconnected and you are in your mind, you cannot do anything about it. When you wake up, you become aware to it. And what inner walk is doing, that every 15 meters, basically, there is someone like waking you up. Not necessarily someone, but the turning around is waking you up. And every time that you wake up, it helps you to be more present. And this is becoming your nature after sometimes that you walk. And I think that's what's really beautiful about this practice, that it's automatic process. The only responsibility that you have is to just walk. That's it.
And it's very impactful, I have to say, from my experience and from other people's experience that I know that recommended me to do that, this practice. It was actually very insightful because I feel like for the first time, as I started saying, I was able to think. It was 4 hours, and it's like, you're telling me, you know what, you have 4 hours to think. Go for it. It's like a buffet of thinking. Other people, I understand, can be very terrified by it, but for me as a thinker, like as an also like overthinking, it's also like a label that I'm not really attached to. It's like, you're overthinker, and it's like it's so judgmental. But when you give me time to think, when you're allowing me to do that, I'm actually not an overthinker, because I had many, like, I don't know, minutes or whatever time to not think, but it felt like I can do whatever I want. So
the freedom gives the space to relax. Yeah. There is a very nice guided meditation, and I quote, when you let the mind be in the spacious open, like a glass of muddy water. When you put the glass, the mud will slowly settle. When you let the mind be in the spacious open, it will slowly settle. It's like, just let it be, and it will happen. And it's very different than what we think, because mostly we think that we need to hold the mind and to control the mind and to shut it down. And I think this is forcing, this is fighting, this is tension, and I don't think that it will necessarily lead us to a beautiful place.
Yeah, because I understand also the mind, if you don't control it, then you start thinking, and the thinking creates sensations. So you want to, like, no, I don't want these sensations right now.
I'll just say that a mind without a presence of you, just the mind that is operating there, creates a lot of tension and sensation in the body. The mind that is in the presence of your awareness does not create any changes in the body. The tension is happening in the back of the mind when you are not aware. When you are present with your things, so when you start to feel tension somewhere, and then you look, okay, what is this tension? Then you start to become aware to what your mind is doing. So until that point, it was in the back of the mind. Yeah? But when you are practicing observation of thoughts, yeah, and the modality helps you, like in a walk, it's actually not really activating you so much. So the level of tension that you will have with each thought and every topic that goes in your body, your mind will not create so much activation. The activation happens when you're not present with it. Yeah, it happens because when presence is is there, so there is no tension being created. When it's in the background, the tension is being created. There's a whole philosophy about it. There is a video that, if you want, I don't know, you can share it. It's called The Technology of the Mind, Thinking and Overthinking. It's a 1.5 hour video, and it's about the inner technology perspective of how mind thinks, what is tension, what are thoughts, how they're activating us, how to reduce the level of tension and increase the level of presence, and how all this mechanics works inside of us. I can send you the link.
Yes, please.
Yes, it's a nice one. Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? That actually, when you're talking, I hear you saying and explaining to me all these methodological ways, as you're talking about it in a very practical way. It's very, like, it's not hippie. It's not. It's very, like, people will call it, like, like hippie or
Woo.
woohoo.
Yeah,
You're
no,
very
no.
much like
No,
if you wouldn't tell me, I would be like, you were a software developer or something. You're dealing with.
I'm
with
deep into technology.
I actually like it. I can very like, and I'm sure a lot of people can really relate to this, because it's
Very
like
practical.
very matter of fact. It's like there's no bullshit.
Yeah, very practical.
And there's a lot of bullshit.
I will tell you that one of my paths of studies is coming from the plant medicine world, like ayahuasca and medicine work and so on. And my teacher there, when you listen to him, he's like he's talking about the technology of the medicine. It's like the technology of the music. Like what technology? Music is music. Medicine is medicine. Is woo, no?
Yeah.
No. Very practical. They study this. They study the technology of everything that they're doing, and it's knowledge that existed thousands of years ago and being passed from generation to generation. It's not woo-woo belief systems. No. It's like
I know, I'm with
it's
you,
understanding.
totally.
It's understanding. And I will say also, if I touch the concepts like God, the concept of God or the concept of universe, there is a lot of very practical ways to look at it. The concept of karma and many things. It's like I talk about all. You can choose the topic. I will bring it to very practically, very technically.
This is a very fascinating subject because you can mix a lot as a person that is being lost or in a journey of like what is right. Is this like okay, there's a system, there's amygdala, it's like going like this, the flight and flight, fawn, freeze system, and then it goes like this and this and that. This is what you need to do in order to be better. And there's the other side, is like ceremonies and this and like spiritualities and like singing and like drum circles. And I'm not saying it this is bad or this is wrong. This is wrong and this is good. It's just very confusing. But when you're saying it, for me, I feel personally speaking very comfortable to know that what I'm experiencing, anxiety, depression, feeling of lost, confused, there's people in this world that can give me answers.
Yeah.
It's like I'll go to the doctor because my hand is broken, God forbid, and he will fix it. I love that concept.
There is and there is a meaning behind every practice, and it was designed in specific ways, and there is knowledge that has been going on for many years. It's like let's say you have control issues. Okay, I suggest you go to do water therapy. Take someone, hold you in the water for 1 hour, and you have to accept that someone is holding you, and you let go, and all the body weight is being released. And there is so much tension in control system that will be broken down in 1 hour session like this that it might change your entire life. And it's like, so for every challenge, we can find different solutions that fits different people. Okay, you don't want to walk? I will give you another modality. You take a block of papers, not a notebook, nothing, just papers, and you take a pen and you write whatever is in your mind. Okay, just write whatever is in your mind. You're not allowed to read what you write, and you don't stop. And if the sentence is broken, you just continue the next sentence. You just writing. As soon as you finish the page, okay, or a few pages, you burn them. So you're not allowed to read what you wrote. Okay, that's allowed the mind to express himself freely in the concepts in the presence. So what is happening is like because you're writing, you kind of need to break it down and to be present with what is being written. Yeah, but you don't hold it, so you don't read it again, and you don't judge what you're reading, and you know that you're not going to read, so you know that you can write whatever you want, even it's really nasty, really bad, really negative, really like shameful, whatever. But that allows you to be with your mind. So that's similar in a way to what we're trying to achieve in inner walk. Yeah? Freestyle writing. But again, you cannot keep what you're writing, because when you keep it, there is attachment. There is someone who's going to read it. So there is someone who's going to read it. So when I write it, I need to be careful. There's someone who's going to read it, even if it's myself. So I need to be mindful for what I'm writing. And no, this I cannot write. No. You have to let your mind to express itself and be present with it, even if it's really shitty stuff. Because when you learn to be with your mind, it cannot control you anymore. So that's another modality to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty practical.
Yes, and so there is many more, and it's just a matter of finding the right tools for yourself. And I'm not going to say that I have the perfect solutions, but I'm really inviting you to research and to practice and to try to do different things. There's people who do breath work and yoga and different types of yoga. Yeah.
And I think breath work and maybe also other substances like maybe psychedelics, like helping you finding the source. And I think also there's another contrast between like being practical, be with your thoughts, go to the water if you feel like in control all the time, go to the like very practical things that you need to do in order to be better. And there's also finding the source, like go back to how it's like and why you like that, whether it's your childhood. And I find it very confusing, I have to say, because I'm a very practical person. I'm a project manager in my being, and like, wow, need to go back to the source, but come on,
So I will share something.
please.
I don't know how it's gonna come out. I'm not so much into finding the source. I'm actually I'm thinking it's might be even counterproductive to the point of where you want to get to. You want to improve your quality of life. Yeah?
When you say counterproductive, you mean like you're harming your own journey?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You're taking yourself back, not forward. Because when you look at the question why this is happening, what's happened, yeah, and why it's happening, and this why that never ends. It's very suitable for our new modern lifestyle. We have so much whys. Just just think that you don't know the why, and you just live with what is, and you learn to live with what is. Maybe it's way easier, and maybe when you look for the source, you will find something. Maybe it's a made-up story. Maybe it's not the real source. Maybe there was something before that. And even if you know the source, nobody promises you that knowing it will free you from the condition of it. So the why and going to the source, look, what is really going on now? You have overthinking? Okay, let's see what we do with this. Can I train you to be more present, more in observing, to accept your thoughts, to contain your thoughts, to allow them? So maybe it's enough. Maybe you don't need to understand everything. It's like trying to understand everything, it's a lot of work that not necessarily will lead you to a solution for what you really want to be, more free from the tension inside of you. So I'm not saying that by doing the modalities that I suggest to do, you will not find the sources by coincidence of reality, but that's not the point of the process. So the point of the process is not finding the source, because a lot of people become obsessed of understanding the trauma and where it's coming from.
Also, like I think some of the workshops that you offer here, some of them offer you finding the source, like rebirthing or.
Yeah, I'm not sure that rebirthing is telling you to find the source. Rebirthing might discover you the source.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing. So let's say if I do inner work and my mind is talking, and at some point he's talking about an experience that I had at the age of 14, and then I realized how I became obsessed of trying to save everyone else's life. Yeah, I discovered something and the source revealed itself, but it's very different than me looking for the source. Yeah, it's like I'm not looking for the source. I'm practicing modalities, and those modalities might bring up past experiences and they will discover the source, but it's a very different than I'm looking for it. Yeah, it's a different
So
intention.
you're not suggesting doing ayahuasca, as you started saying that you started with this,
you can do ayahuasca, it's amazing.
or
And if
mushrooms,
you can do
or
mushrooms, fine.
but it's
But why you go there?
countering what you're saying.
No, it's not countering. Why are you going there?
I want to find the source.
Okay, that's the issue.
I want to find a reason.
Why I am where I am.
I want to find the trauma.
Okay, yeah, and what I'm saying is that if you go to do something in order to find the trauma, I'm not sure it will help you. But you can go do the things, it's okay. You see, but the question is why you're going doing it. If you do it in order to explore life, to learn more about your awareness, and to figure out way to improve qualities of life, that's a beautiful journey. If you're trying to find your trauma, I'm not sure you're going to get the answers that you want, and I'm not sure it's going to be productive to you. And you might just digging a bigger hole. It's like I'm not so much about following the trauma. I accept that you have a trauma. I'm not denying it. Probably most of us have a trauma. It's fine. I'm not disagreeing with all of that content, yeah? I'm just saying I'm not sure that that's what we need to look for.
Interesting. For me, it feels very relieving when you started saying it, because actually I can go back home now and like I don't need to search for anything.
No.
There's no journey.
Okay.
There's nothing. I can go to the pool and have patay, and I don't need to like think of what I need to work on.
So if I give it to you in another way, you have a trauma. Okay, let's accept it. You have a trauma, fine. Okay. Who would you be without your trauma? Like, try to see what is the difference between you now and you without the trauma. If you can describe the differences, maybe I can work on the differences without understanding what is actually the trauma. Because you claim that without the trauma, you're going to be a better person. Okay, in what way you're going to be a better person?
It's gonna release me.
Okay,
I'm
release
gonna-
you
I'm
from
gonna
what?
Be free.
From what?
My thoughts.
Okay.
My anxiety.
Yeah.
My things that are holding me back.
Okay. And how many times we discover the story for trauma and I still have anxiety and stories? Yeah? Knowing the trauma not necessarily is the solution. There is another solution that always is there. Learning to be with your thoughts, not running away from them, doing it in a gradual level that train you. Because if you have a trauma level 90 and you cannot handle level 30, so first let's give you thoughts at level 30, let's see that you can be with them. Let's give you level 40, let's see that you can be with them. Level 50. At some point you can be with level 90, it's not going to affect you anymore. And then when it's not going to affect you, you're going to be where you want to be, free from it.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly telling you that you don't necessarily need to search for your trauma. You need to learn to be with your thoughts. Learning to be with your thoughts might reveal your trauma. Yeah. But it's not you searching for the trauma. You see, it's a different intention.
I understand now.
I'm learning to be with my thoughts.
understand.
It's not I'm looking for my trauma, because when you look from your trauma, it's like you're navigating inside your thoughts and asking, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I want to dig deeper.
It's
I want to dig
frustrating.
deeper. Also, it might be abusive, because the reason that you cannot see your trauma and be with your trauma, because your system is protecting you from something that you cannot handle. And you're trying to go to a place that you are not allowed to go because your system is not strong enough. Learning to be with your thoughts, meaning that I can be with whatever I can see inside of me. And if I can be with that, maybe my system will allow me to see more. So I can be with more. And my system will allow me to be with more. So I can see more. And then at some point I might see the trauma, yeah. But I didn't go to look for it. I'm learning to be with what's happening.
What do I do after I discover it?
Anyway, you're going to be free because you can be with it. Yeah, so when you're learning to be with your thoughts, you're becoming free from your thoughts. So that's the tension that you carry. You're free from the tension. You can be more free to do whatever you feel like. But when you're starting to understand this, it's not I'm searching for my trauma. I'm learning to be with myself. And learning to be with myself is understanding to regulate my body, to be with thinking, to notice when thinking becomes too much and I need to find a way to regulate the system again, and learning how to work with the system. And at some point, you can be with everything. So even if you had a trauma that your mind cannot allow you access to, at some point he will give you the access because he trusts you. Trust you can be with it.
Wow, super interesting.
yeah.
I could sit here and like talk to you in like another 2 hours or 3 hours, but I'm very aware of our time and your time, obviously, as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you like this episode or you think it can inspire other people, please feel free to share it. See you in the next episode of Wild Shift.